Hey, what is going on, guys? It's DK back at you with another video here to rank on the 6-game CSGO main slate on Thursday. A couple things before I get in the video. If you're new to the channel, my name's DK. I make daily videos talking about NBA, NFL, XFL, and now CSGO for daily fantasy sports. I break down, obviously, the slates. So before we get into this 6-game slate, what we can do is we can look back at my lineup from Wednesday. So yeah, today, Wednesday, was a forgettable day for sure. One I just want to throw away and not talk about anymore, but we can go over my lineup here. So Astralis, I went with a 3-man stack. There was Zypax, Dupree, and Glave. Glave was obviously a little bit disappointing, but he was cheap. Paired him with Frozen and Rops. Yeah, that was surprising. Mouse Esports was looking really, really good. And then they got 2-0'd by Fnatic. So that definitely was a little bit surprising in this, or in the high dollar tournaments. Robs and Frozen were only like 50 and 60% on this, but in the $33 tournament I was in, they were like 90% owned. And then Simple was fine. He got off to a slow start. I thought Navi was going to get 2-0'd there against FaZe, but they made a comeback. I actually didn't get to watch the back end of that series. I saw the first game and a half where FaZe was dominating. I was like, screw this, I'm turning it off because I had no FaZe exposure. I'm like, this is terrible. But, Navi ended up coming back, making it a good game. They ended up taking the W there. But like I said, my Frozen and Rops exposure just sunk me right away. I knew it. Right when they got 2-0'd, the first match of the day, I knew my day was over here. So, forgettable day, but just goes to show, right, anything can happen. Now, Mouse Esports weren't huge favorites, but everyone was on them. And again, high dollar tournaments, they were like the absolute chalk. So, again, anything can happen there. So that kind of wraps it up for the look back on Wednesday slate. Again, a slate I just kind of want to forget about. So let's talk about, now we have 6 games. We've had like 2 or 3 straight slates, only 3 games. Now we get back to a good 6-game slate. So, let's talk about the Vegas odds here. We have Astralis going up against Mouse Esports. Astralis are minus 160 favorites. I think that one should be a good game. 2 really solid teams. FaZe Clan versus OG. FaZe Clan are pretty big favorites there at minus 215, but not the biggest favorites on the slate. We'll talk about that in a bit. But I do want some FaZe exposure. Nico is the guy that does stand out, obviously, at the top. Navi versus Fnatic is Navi are minus 145 favorites. Again, that one should stay close. That one should be a good game to watch. Furia versus MIBR. Furia are decent favorites at minus 185. And then we get to the Flashpoint series. We have the biggest favorites here on the slate, Mad Lions, at minus 475. So huge favorites here. But again, guys, anything can happen. So, and then Gen G there versus Cloud9. Gen G minus 145. That one also should stay pretty close. So that's kind of it for the Vegas odds. Let's talk about the... Well, first, let's talk about Mad Esports, right? Because this is the team I think you're going to want to target if you're making a wall lineup, right? If you're going for safety, they're huge favorites. They're almost minus 500 favorites. Now, if you're making multiple lineups, sure, you can go different ways. But I think if you're making one lineup like myself, you're going to want some Mad exposure, whether it be 1, 2, or 3 guys. I don't think it's a bad idea to get at least 1 or 2. So I'm not going to be able to pronounce this guy's name. Budgki. He is at 9K. He's up there for one of the most expensive guys in the slate. But, he does have an upside. They actually just played FPX a few days ago on, April 5th. He put up 118 fantasy points. So, yeah, he's obviously someone I'm considering. But then the 2 guys that I really like here are Shush at 7.6K. I think that's just too cheap. Again, for such heavy favorites, should be able to put up a pretty good game here. So I do like him a good amount. And I really like Akor as well, 5.8K. That is really, really too cheap in my opinion. So he's one of my favorite value plays of the day here. And then Roge and Asilion are still viable as well. But I think, Shush, Akor, and Bubchki. Again, I'm probably botching that pronunciation. But those are the 3 guys that really interest me for Mad. But all right, let's go back to the top here. And we have Simple at 9.2K. Again, it was looking like it was going to be another 2-0 there, but they came back, and I didn't need to watch that back end of the game. But obviously, Simple had a pretty solid day here, 75 kills, 52 deaths. Now he's going up against FNC. This should be a good game. But yeah, Simple has huge upside. He has a pretty high floor too, so I do like him at the top there. Obviously, Nico as well. He's the guy that I have been avoiding because of the matchups, right, against Mouse, Esports, Astralis, and Navi. But now he gets a much better matchup here against OG and FaZe minus 215 favorites, I believe it was. Yeah, minus 215. So Nico, after that big 115-point outing, I think he's going to be really chalky. But, you know, if you're making one lineup, I'm leaning towards playing him right now. Now, sure, again, anything can happen. You can go different ways, making a lot of different lineups. But I'm thinking for one lineup for safety, you know, I think, you know, getting exposure to those Mad Esports guys, maybe Nico and Simple at the top, I think it's a pretty good core, right? Maybe you go Simple, Nico, a couple of Mad Esports guys, and you have 2 guys left remaining. I think that's, again, if you're going for safety, if we're going like cash game play, if you're making just one lineup, I think that's a pretty safe approach. Rops and Frozen, I think their ownership is going to drop significantly after letting a lot of people down, including myself today. It's probably just as tough, if not a tougher matchup here against Astralis. So, yeah, again, if you want to get off of chalky guys like who I think are going to be chalky, like Simple and Nico, and you want to look to like Rops or Frozen for low ownership, I don't hate that. We've seen huge games from Rops and Frozen. Besides that game today, they've been really, really consistent. So those are still guys I'm considering. Quesarado, so I think some of the guys in the Flashpoint series are going to go a little bit overlooked because we haven't seen them in a few days. Where is MIBR? Fury minus 185. And Quesarado is their go-to guy. He has actually in that matchup about a couple of weeks ago against MIBR, or what, a week ago? I'm losing track of time. Yeah, a little over a week ago. He put up over 100 fantasy points there. So Quesarado is a guy that I think maybe goes a little bit under the radar. Dupree has been Mr. Consistent here at 8.4K. You know, the downside, again, to what I say about Astralis is they're a very balanced team. They don't really have, like, a go-to Slayer like we see in Simple, like we see in Nico, or like we see in Rops and Frozen. Whereas, again, Astralis, they're kind of balanced. They have Device, Dupree, Zypex, Magix, right? So, yeah, I think Astralis, or I think Dupree and this Astralis team in general go a little bit under the radar, but I have some interest there. He's been really, really consistent. Again, Frozen, kind of the same analysis there with Rops. I think both those guys' ownership dropped significantly after letting a lot of people down, but their upside is still there. And if you want to go for low ownership, I don't hate that idea. The Gen G versus C9 matchup, where are we at for odds in that one again? Pretty close. Gen G minus 145. We have Floppy here, the most expensive C9 player, but he is a guy that does have a lot of upside. I think he's another guy that goes a little bit overlooked. I have some interest, though. Let's see. Device, again, kind of the same thing there with Dupree. I think they go a little bit low owned. Fallen is a guy that I do like at 8.2. He is a guy that has flashed some pretty big upside as well. 123 there a couple of games ago. He is a little bit up and down. And again, they are MIBR are dogs, so I think his ownership is also going to be pretty low. Yuri, I don't think I get to him at 8K. Like, I would much prefer getting to Quesarado at a similar price at 8.6, so I think his upside is a lot higher than Yuri's. Yuri is the number 2 there, but again, I would just if I was going to play someone on Furia, I think I would just prefer getting all the way to the top to Quesarado there. Let's see. Kusta I'll probably pass. Zypex was a guy that was super chalky, but they finally raised his price now to 7.8K. I still think he's viable here. 94 and 78 fantasy points in back-to-back games, and he's under 8K. So I do, again, these Astralis guys, they're just a little bit tricky because no one ever really stands out when they're priced about the same. Zypex in the slate today was way underpriced. That's why he stood out. Now, him, Dupree, Device, all priced about the same. Fur here at 7.8, another guy that is a little bit up and down, but back-to-back 100 fantasy point games. He does have upside, but in losing matches, right, he does have a pretty low floor. So, Yeah, I think that game, because we haven't seen those teams in a few days, it was a little bit lower owned. But, Fur, Quesarado, Fallen, those are all guys that have a pretty big upside. Let's see. OC at 7.8 of a C9 team. I think it's fine. I think I prefer just getting to Floppy there at a similar price, though, on the same team. Crims was a guy that had a really solid game today against Mouse Esports at 89 fancy points. Fnatic, another team that is a little bit more balanced, right? Kind of like a Strauss. No one ever really stands out when they're priced about the same. These guys in the mid-range, I just think they go a little bit overlooked today. Let's see, Dapper, I'll pass. Huge dogs there. I don't want any exposure there for FPX. Mantu's a guy that still puts up decent numbers in loss in games I expect to lose. The 7.4, I think he's fine, but probably not for me. Brolin, again, this game should be fun to watch. Him, Crims, if you want like a load up in Fnatic, I don't hate that idea. I think they go pretty low owned. Brokey at 6.8. I think some of these phase guys actually look pretty decent. Brokey and Rain are some decent value plays in my opinion. Brokey at 6.8, Rain at 6.4, and phase minus 215 favorites. They should be able to win this one here against OG. So yeah, Brokey and Rain are guys I do like. Let's see. Then we get to more of the risky range. Cold Zero is fine too for value for phase. Those three guys all priced about the same. If you want to pair one of those guys with Nico at the top for like a mini phase stack, I don't hate that idea. Asilion, again, I talked about those other Mad Lions guys. I think he's fine, but I prefer some of the other guys in the same team. Yeah, Core, again, I think he is one of the best value plays of the day here, 5.8K. Not a guy that has like immense upside, but in a game they should win pretty easily. I think he does stand out as probably the best value play right now. I think he's going to be really chalky like Zypex was today, but I will probably be eating that chalk. Let's see. Anything else I want to talk about down here? I don't think so. I don't think we have to go with anyone down there, really. So, yeah, for teams I'm looking to stack, obviously, right, Mad Lions there. They're huge favorites. I think they look pretty good. I think FaZe looks pretty good. Obviously, those are the two biggest Vegas favorites, or favorites according to Vegas, I should say. So those teams probably are the safest teams to go after if you want to stack. And I think, an interesting idea, what I did today, I threw a cheap guy in my captain spot and it opened up a lot with Zypex. Now, again, it didn't really work out because Frozen and Rop sank my lineup. But right now, I think I'm looking to go right back to the well and throw a guy like a Core in my captain. 8.2K remaining, right? I can almost get whoever else I want in here. So if I want Simple, if I want Boomski, if I want Nico, I can probably get all three of those guys and play, a couple of these guys in the 7 or 8K range, and that's a pretty good lineup. So that's kind of where I'm leaning towards right now. Hopefully this video, guys, helped you out, and yeah, I think that's going to do it for today's video, guys. So if you have been enjoying the content, would really appreciate if you could like this video, subscribe if you haven't already. Yeah, again, I want to say, hope you guys are all doing well. We do have, there actually is golf. I think there's like a golf slate. I don't even know what it is, but it's actually like a real life golf. Is it in like Arizona or something? I forget, but there is like a golf slate. If you guys are interested in that, I'm probably not gonna do that. I'm probably just gonna stick to CS:GO. But there is, I guess, some live sports. I don't think that's on TV, but at least it's something other than like video games. Again, we do have the positive news of MLB trying to come back the next month or so. Hopefully we get NBA back soon. I'm itching for NBA. It's really killing me without it. But yeah, all right. So thanks again for everyone to come and check the video. I really do appreciate it. And I will see you guys all in the next video.